There's this thing called discretionary energy that every employee has. Here's the expectation. Discretionary energy is really important to me in safety because focused workers that are into what they're doing, they don't get hurt. They're very mindful, right? So they're focused on what they're doing. They're focused on the objective for the day, which we used to do a safety meeting. I said, no, we're going to do a production meeting. How much do you want to get done in the day? And then talk about the risks of that. But so they have this discretionary energy they start every day with. They're going to either give you more or they're going to give you less. If you're a terrible boss, they're going to be giving you way less while they're shoveling or pounding a hammer or whatever they're doing. They're going to be thinking about where can I get the next job? And they're likely to get hurt and definitely not meet your production goals. But that person who feels cared for and engaged in your vision, you're going to get that discretionary energy. You're not even paying for it. And they're going to be innovative and they're going to be thinking about things. They're going to be mindful. It's really, that's how you give the business case. It's free money.
Oh, wow. I love that. I absolutely love that. I've never thought of it that way, but there's this talk about presenteeism and engagement. But the way that you put it there, that there's this discretionary energy, and how are you impacting that? And how are you impacting people's lives as a leader?
Yeah.
And depending that's just how much or how little people are going to give of themselves, of their lives to be connected with you as an individual, your organization. And that really, if you just, that I think that's going to be a big takeaway that I'm going to have for myself. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I know it's really personal for you too, in terms of how you show up in your life and what drives you. And then so what inspired that? Was it the CEO that inspired specifically this sort of journey into leadership? Is there that whole, you went through quite a
Or
trajectory.
metamorphosis.
Yeah.
I have to say, I really love learning too. It wasn't the CEO who inspired it. I've known him through my career. I worked for him early on when I first got out of the field. I was a carpenter when I actually met this CEO. He was a project manager on one of those $1 billion road projects, the toll road project in Orange County. And I was working in the field, and that's where I learned about this scientific side of safety, where I was a cost engineer, so I was in a budget meeting taking notes. And the insurance guy said, we're going to budget for 4 fatalities on this job. And I'm thinking, my family's going to be working out there. And so I asked him after the meeting, just very interested in how you came up with that. And he had a calculation based on Heinrich's triangle. A lot of debate on the numbers, but insurance companies use that. So that's what sparked my interest in it. It's this, I like science, but I also like learning. And I thought, gosh, he drew that triangle for me and showed me the calculation and the statistics and probability of fatality happening with that many man hours. And I realized that none of the safety people were teaching in that way. You know, the part of the reason I was a carpenter is I couldn't read very well back then. And so I didn't have a lot of options. I kept trying to go to college and I couldn't pass a class. I couldn't read the books. So I, trades were really the only option I had at that point. So I think I bring that into what I'm doing. Just like I showed you, I hear the word, oh, we want engagement from our employees. And I just think, yawn, what does that mean? I don't like buzzwords. That's another one of my anti-safety. They say proactive. What does that mean? What does engagement mean? And so I have to see it. I have to see, okay, discretionary energy is you're going up, down. So I think all of that just ties together in my journey in how this all has come about. It's a combination of, I know we need to meet people. I like how you said that, where they are. And everyone needs to learn in different ways. And to get people all going in the same direction, that alignment, you have to communicate visually. You have to communicate the business case. You've got to communicate in so many different angles to make sure you're meeting everyone where they are to at least get to a starting place.